What is up, everybody? It's Larry back with you. I want to today talk to you about the TCL 10 Pro. TCL was nice enough to send it out to me about a week or so ago. I've done an unboxing of the phone and did a little bit of a quick run through. So if you haven't seen that, you can check that out in the card up here, link down in the description below. Really what I wanted to talk about today is the 5 coolest features that I think are in this budget phone. Now, let's keep in mind, we'll talk about the price a little bit later, but just to get that out of the way, this is a $450 phone. And when you see the B-roll of this phone, when I talk about these top 5 features, you guys are gonna be shocked that you can get that kind of quality and those kind of things in a $450 package. But let's just jump right into it. Battery life on this has been fantastic. It has a 4,500 milliamp hour battery, but even when it gets low, it has Quick Charge 3.0. I'm consuming content. I'm on YouTube, Netflix, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, not really, but all those type of things, and really trying to drain the battery and feel for it. And it will drain, but it's lasted me a full day. It gets very low, but like I said, if it does get low and it's earlier than when I'm gonna go to bed, I hit it with the Quick Charge 3.0 and I'm back up in no time. Speaking of that Quick Charge 3.0, you do have USB Type-C. So usually on a budget phone or a lower priced phone, you see them cut the corners with USB Type-C and you still see that dreaded micro USB. That's not the case here, so USB Type-C, big thumbs up for that. One thing it is missing, so we can talk about that and just get it out of the way, there is no wireless charging. So if you're a big wireless charging fan, this may not be the phone for you, but like I said, with Quick Charge 3.0 and how fast it re-ups, I think it's okay. Yes, I love wireless charging. I mean, I wirelessly charge all the things, but you have to make compromises when you're gonna bring something sub $500. And trust me, when we get through this other stuff, you'll understand that that's a compromise I think you'll be able to live with. So when we talk about that quick charging, what you get with that is you get 100% in 2 hours and 50% in about 35 minutes. So just think about that. If you're at 0, your phone dies. If you're getting ready to leave or something like that, while you jump in the shower and get ready, you plug this thing in, you're up to 50% in 35 minutes. So by the time you're ready to walk out the door, you at least have 50%. That's awesome right there. Another awesome thing, which is sort of about the battery, but overall with the phone when it comes to power, is you can reverse charge things. Now, I've seen reverse wireless charging where you can charge some headphones or something on the back of a phone or a phone on a phone. This uses the USB Type-C port on the bottom of the phone. You can plug it in and then plug in another device. The footage that I have here is I actually plugged in my iPhone 11 Pro Max and it's charging it up. Now, granted, this is gonna drain your battery on your 10 Pro, but if if my wife or the kids or something like that need something charged up really quick to get them through, or if like I said, if I'm driving and my phone's not really in use and they need a battery and I didn't bring a battery bank, they can just plug their phone in with my phone. So, I mean, that's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about design and build quality, because on a $450 phone, you're really not gonna expect much. I didn't expect much. I saw the renders, I heard rumors about the TCL 10 Pro and the 10L, and I was like, let's see what it's all about. When it came in and I believe I had to edit it out of the unboxing, but there was a few words that I said because I was so surprised with the quality and what they were bringing. Feels really good in the hand, and I know that's cliche and everybody throws that around, but this phone really does feel good in the hand. It's thin and tall, so that is gonna be an issue with some people with using in one hand, or if you have smaller hands. So I haven't used a phone with curved glass in quite a while, and I know there's people out there saying it's played out, it's old, you need to get past that. That was, a couple years ago, whatever. There's some features that come with that curved display that I actually like and I think is enjoyable to use, and we'll talk about that in a little bit later. I really enjoy it. I think it looks really slick. The palm rejection on this phone, again, something that lower end phones in this price range is something that you don't really get, but the rejection of, I shouldn't say palm, but when you're reaching around and basically the fat of your lower thumb is touching the phone as you're reaching, I haven't had any like accidental touches or glitches where it goes crazy because it's feeling a couple different pressures on the phone. So like big shout out to TCL for that, because that's a winner there. If you're gonna have the curved glass, you better be able to get away from false touches and things like that, and they've done it. When we talk about design, I showed this off in the unboxing, but the color and the way that the back of this phone, like, you know, the gradient sort of moves and the gray and it's matte, and it's just a beautiful looking phone. Now, I love a beautiful looking phone, and if I didn't have kids and I wasn't a little klutzy and wear basketball pants and basketball shorts all the time and my phone slips out of my pockets, maybe I would go case free, but that's not the life I live in, so I have to rock a case. And TCL is awesome enough to ship the 10 Pro and the 10L with cases in the packaging. So that's awesome, because anybody that knows, like, if you're like me, you want to put a case on it right away. This one, you're getting it in the box. So the minute you get to look at it, you say, oh, this is beautiful. Let me throw a case on it. The case, has some branding, some logo stuff, or some tagline stuff on the back, but you're still able to see through it and still see that design. I like it. It gives some protection. And to me, I have to have a case on this phone or it just feels wrong. Like I'm super nervous without the case. But that's just because, my lifestyle. If you can live without a case on your phone, I think you're really gonna love how this phone feels. Okay, and the last thing when we talk about design and sort of function of the phone and that, design and hardware, is there's a smart button, what they call smart button, on what would be the left side of the phone if you're looking at it. You can set it up, configure it how you want. I have it set up where you press it once and it'll launch the camera, even if the phone's off. 2 times, it'll actually silence everything and put the phone in silent. Press it 2 times again, it turns it back on. And then I have a long press and it actually launches Google Assistant. So that works out really well for me. You can configure it how you want and whatever app that you want it to use and stuff like that. But I find it really helpful and really handy to have that on the side of the phone. Now, it's at a cost, and I've talked about this, I think in the unboxing I mentioned it, or maybe on Instagram or Twitter or somewhere I mentioned this, but on the 10 Pro and the 10L, their other cheaper phone that I'll talk about in another video, they have the power and volume rocker on what, if you're looking at it, the right side of the phone. So now you have those on the right, you have the smart button on the left. I'm just so used to having my power and volume rockers on opposite sides, just from being with the iPhone for so long, that I'm having a really difficult time not turning it off when I'm trying to lower the volume or hitting the smart button when I'm trying to turn it on or off. So it's gonna take a little bit of learning for me to get back into the groove on that. But overall, I really like having the smart button. I've used it a lot more than probably what I thought I would. It's a great implementation, and I like that it's customizable. It's not just, hey, this is just your Google Assistant button and that's it. You can actually sort of customize it and make it your own. And I think anything like that on a phone or any kind of technology, if you're able to do that, I think it makes it more functional and someone, the end user, more likely to use it. Okay, so let's quickly talk about the screen. The screen's awesome. It's an OLED, it's curved like I talked about before. It's 6.47 inches. It's 1080 by 2340, so like I said, it's skinnier and longer. You have 398 is your PPI, so it's dense with pixel. It looks great. So it's not the most resolution out there, but again, we're talking $450, and when I'm looking at it, it looks fantastic, like no issues whatsoever. It has HDR10 also, which means you can watch things on Netflix that have HDR10, like Stranger Things. I've found myself rewatching stuff, like I started doing some Stranger Things for this B-roll, and caught myself like I'm back to rewatching the series just because on this phone, just so I can get a little bit of a different experience seeing it in HDR10. So that's a bonus, I guess, unless you have something to do and you shouldn't be binge watching shows again. The screen's super sharp, the colors pop. It just looks really vibrant, and I'm sort of a fan of that look and that style. Okay, so let's talk about the UI. In my opinion, a lot of Android phone manufacturers sort of miss the mark when it comes to UI. They try to do too much, maybe they don't do enough, but there's a sweet spot, and I think TCL is very close to that. Overall, it's super clean. I really like it, the way it looks. There's like a dark mode, which I keep on. There's just a lot of things that are really smart and intuitive that I enjoy using. And the main thing is it's fast, it's fluid. Now, we know that, at least I know, that Android phones usually get worse with that over time. So make sure you follow me on Twitter and Instagram. Like, I always put like Instagram stories showing like progress with different devices as I've used them longer, or how I'm using them in the future and stuff like that. So if you're interested in that, make sure you follow me on my socials. But as of right now, like after about a week or so, it's still smooth and snappy, and I'm really enjoying using it. Yeah, this is a really good phone. I mean, you say for the price, but like this is a good phone, period. And the price of it is just a bonus to me. So the 10 Pro has a 4-camera array. So let's just kick some of the specs out for those and talk about them real quick. The main shooter is a 64 megapixel, which sounds awesome, but the weird thing is that to actually use the full 64 megapixels, you have to use a mode inside of the camera. It's not like the auto mode is 64 megapixels. So if you want to get the full advantage of all those megapixels, you have to actually select it, take the photo. It'll stay in that mode, but then it's just weird that it's an actual mode and not just the auto. You can't just set to 64 megapixels. I find that a little weird. I don't know if it's maybe a processing, image processing, or the actual processor in the phone limitation or something like that, but there is something weird about that being its own separate mode. And then you have your own dedicated low light camera, which is 2 megapixels. You have a 16 megapixel super wide and a 5 megapixel macro lens. The 64 megapixel is f1.79. The low light is f1.8. The macro is f2.2, and the super wide is f2.4. So all these are solid cameras. I think any average consumer would be very happy with these. I've posted some samples on IG. I think I may have put some on Twitter as well. There's also a bunch of cool modes: slow motion, stop motion, light trails, just a bunch of different cool things for people that are creative, and I appreciate that part of it. The weird part, like I said, there's a 4-camera array. The super wide is really cool. The main shooter is really cool. The low light seems to be working pretty well. Now, it's not on par with some of the higher end night mode type of things, but it works. It's, for what it is, it works really well. The one that confuses me is the macro. I don't find myself wanting to use a macro on a phone. I've used attachments to get macro on phones before, and having it built in may sound really cool to some people, but to me, you need really good light when using macro photography, and I find myself, I've tried using it multiple times outside, and once I get close enough for it to be macro, unless I'm doing something like in a tree above me, but anything below, I start blocking the light. The phone blocks the light, you have a shadow in it, so I don't find it super functional. It's not anything I think I'm going to use that often, but there is somebody out there, I'm sure, that's like, yes, macro. So for them, this is here. So along with the cameras, you have video. You can do 4K up to 30 frames per second, which is awesome. You have slow-mo at 1080p at 120 frames, and you can go down from there. Also at the bottom of the array, you can see like a little black box that it has laser detect autofocus. So again, your autofocus is really spot on. Like HDR looks pretty good in bright areas, and different dynamic range seems okay. So again, I think the cameras are really good. So I think people are gonna enjoy those. That's gonna be it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think about the 10P down in the comment section below. If you have any questions, hit me up there and I'll answer them again. Make sure you follow me on Instagram and Twitter, where I'm gonna be putting updates and different things about this phone. I should be having the 10L video coming very soon. I didn't wanna drop them at the same exact time. So if you're watching this one and you're curious about a $250 version of this phone, make sure you go check out the 10L video that I have. I have an unboxing already, but I'll have a 10L video showing my top features of that one as well very soon. So make sure you subscribe, hit that notification bell, and that's gonna be it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks TCL for sending this out, and I will speak to you guys in the next one.